Don't drink your own lemonade. Don't drink your own Kool-Aid. Continue to work. Continue to be of service to other creatives and watch how it always pays you back.
All right, so we're back with another episode of The Buzz. I'm your host, Sherwin, with Gospel Music Buzz. And today, y'all, we're joined by a phenomenal singer, songwriter, 5-time Emmy Award winning, whose journey took her from singing into a spoon as a kid in the Bay Area to being crowned the first lady of Death Row Record by Snoop Dogg himself. She's worked with Raphael, Saadiq, Kelly Rowland, Teddy Riley. I mean, you name it. She's done it. She's here to talk about her brand new radio single, Just Believe, off of the Altar Call album. And, you know, we're going to get into all the things. Jane, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So, you know, you have a really interesting story. I mean, I feel like not a whole lot of folks, you know, has kind of walked in that direction that you have walked in. So definitely, as I'm like reading and kind of going through all of that, I wanted to start a little bit in the beginning, and then we can kind of fast forward to where things are. So again, you know, you said that music found you rather than the other way around. But I guess my first question would be, what was the feeling you had when you saw your mother singing for the first time in church?
That's a great question. I can't even describe it. You know, I definitely think it was the Holy Spirit because, you know, like I was young, very, you know, little, and I really didn't know how to define a lot of feelings that I had, but I know I was moved. Every time I was in church, hearing my mom worship and, you know, hearing the choir sing and the church mothers cry out and, you know, tears and all of that. Like, you know, my mom, like, shout, you know, like just... I don't even know how to describe it. I just know I was moved. So it had to just been the Holy Spirit.
Wow. Yeah, there's something special about having to be able to experience that and just sort of just, you know, experience an environment such as that again, ultimately help to fuel your gift now that a lot of us now are able to hear and able to appreciate. And again, from a very young age, you were already performing, you know, in large venues. 15, 16, you're performing in large venues. Do you remember your first large audience that you performed in front of when you were a teenager?
Ooh, when I was a teenager, yes. First of all, I was in the school band for my high school. They like hand selected the students that they wanted to be in it, and I was one of the students that got selected. And not only did we sing, like, you know, obviously, like, for school related things, we all became just good friends. And we were just like, hey, we could take this on the road, really. So we were all around the city and all around the Bay Area singing. We had a residency. I had a residency in the 10th grade.
Really?
Yeah.
A residency in the 10th grade? He just said that so casual. Yeah, we had a residency.
We found this lounge that, you know, just loved what we did. And, you know, they gave us our own residency. So I vividly remember that we would have, like, family and friends come out. It'd be sold out. Like, every Thursday, we would just get down and, you know, practice, shed, whatever. But it was a good time. I vividly remember that.
Wow, that's truly special. Have you still collaborated with any of those early connections?
Yeah, a lot of them still are like my best friends.
Wow, that's amazing. You've often heard stories about that, and folks like, yeah, I've used this producer for the last 10, 15 years. I've used this. So I guess there's something to be said about building that bond amongst creatives, for sure.
Absolutely.
And, you know, growing up as a artsy, a collective, you know, kid, kind of just growing up where you grew up at, did you at any point felt like a outsider and has used music to kind of, go into your own world? Was there anything ever around that feeling?
Somewhat, yeah. I think that's like half and half because with the with the high school that I went to, as a high schooler, I felt very much so like seen and felt because it was an art school. But on the other side of that, I did feel always very odd in my family, and just outside of like school. But I also embraced it, and I was kind of that kid that was just like, yeah, I'm different. So, like, I do, my own thing. I was very big on. I think I was raised. I got to give it to like my mom and my granny. They always used to tell me like, you be a leader. It don't matter how popular you are, how this, how that. Be a leader. So I always was. I didn't have a lot of people, I didn't care about the followers or anybody following me, but I led my own, my path, I followed my own vibes.
I love that. Between your granny, your mom always told you to be a leader and kind of just led with that. I think that's solid advice, definitely, because, if you're not leading, then you're following. If you're following the wrong thing, then that's a whole nother situation,
yes.
all by itself. So I'm with that. Now, progressing through your journey, at one point you made a leap from the Bay Area into Atlanta. Now, how scary or exciting was that move for you?
Both. Very scary, very exciting. I did not have a lot of money at all. Those were like college years for me.
Wow. Okay.
So it was definitely like, I was excited because me and my best friends, we ended up moving out there doing music. So, at least we had each other, but it was just very scary because financially we didn't want to tell our parents that we didn't have it all together. So we were kind of like, not always being as honest to them on just how hard it was on us. And it was just scary being away from home. Like that was probably the time I felt the most disconnected just in general in life, but it taught me a lot. Like I learned so much about myself and like, I just learned so much about myself that it showed me who I truly am, No,
and I'm just kind of like just thinking about that because I imagine I haven't really taken that much of a leap. I've moved around New York, but not nothing to be compared with moving out of state. So I'm with you with that 100%. I guess the biggest move I've probably made is because I was born in Guyana, South America. So migrating from there to here, I mean, that was big, but I was still a teenager at the time. But no, I'm with you with that. And I want to get this quote correctly. You mentioned that in Atlanta, you were writing your way out of your situation. So was there a particular song that helped to change things for you, or was it just the process of the grind, the not knowing, like what did you mean by that, writing your way out of your situation?
Well, of course, when you're young, you have like your thoughts and ideas on how the industry goes, and I didn't know anything, So of course I'm thinking, well, I'm gonna just write these songs and get these placements, and I'm gonna have some money. And
yeah, of course.
No, that's not how it went.
You get run out the bag, right?
Negative. Negative on that, but I think it was just the process. I like how you put that. It was the process of everything that eventually did get me out of my situation. I learned a whole different degree of work ethic. I always was a hard worker with music. I never was like lazy. I always took it very serious, even if like it was like something to like that shouldn't have been said. Like I was the one, like even if I was performing in front of my family, like for anything, church, it was like, let's rehearse, I was always serious. So when I went to Atlanta, it just like amplified that times 2, times 3 for sure.
No, I love that. And I think it was like around that time where you just started to really make some solid connections there. Like I mentioned in the beginning, again, Raphael Saadiq, right? He seems like I've
Absolutely.
never met him, but he seems just like an incredible mentor and just collaborator. You know, what's one gem or advice, I guess I would say, he given you or you've held on to, whether musically or personally, during that time?
He always says, like, don't drink your own lemonade, don't drink your own Kool-Aid. Continue to work. Continue to be of service to other creatives and watch how it always pays you back. And I think that advice, he's like, yeah, it's great to be an artist, but always keep all of your hats with you. And yeah, that advice got me, still is getting me through a lot because I love music, so I don't do anything for like vanity or like validation, I guess, from like others or whatever. I just love to challenge myself in the craft alone. And I don't mind wearing different hats, even if I'm not in the forefront. It's not about that. It's about more so the gift that I was given. So he's very much so like that.
Wow.
And I've always kept that naturally. I feel like I'm that, I'm very
Love
much
that.
so like I don't have to get the credit. The credit lives. It shines.
Yeah, yeah.
And it does what it needs to do. It's not about me. And he's very much so like that.
I love that. That's refreshing to hear, and I'm sure others are gonna be able to draw on those sage wisdom as well too. So appreciate you for sharing that.
Thank you.
And you mentioned kind of just doing a lot of different things, right? So you have the ability to write, record, engineer your own music. So you know your way around the studio. I'll say that. But do you prefer working alone or do you like collaborating in the studio?
That's a great question.
I saw that smirk.
You know what? I've learned to, I think my process now is I like to collaborate in a certain time. I don't think I'm that artist that, like, obviously, you could put a beat on, I'll come up with something. But now I'm more so like, let me get my ideas out alone because depending on what I'm talking about, sometimes I need that alone space.
Got it.
But then I don't just rely on all of what I do anymore. I'm very much comfortable with like collaborating with others, mix wise, production wise, vocal production wise. But I think I like to get my ideas out first and then bring people in.
Okay, that seems like a good process.
Yeah.
I can mess with that. I can mess with that. Though speaking about collaborating, right? So, and again, as I'm like just reading up and learning everything I can about you, so we can have this conversation. Snoop Dogg crowned you the first lady of Death Row record. Now, how did this moment, this process happen, and what was the feeling, kind of just even hearing those words? Because again, going back to this teenager going to a different state, trying to figure it out, going through that struggling artist, figuring it out phase, and now being bestowed an honor like that. Like, what are you thinking in this moment?
Wow. That's what I'm thinking. Like, Snoop has he has a way of like, yeah, it's a moment, but it's almost like he does declarations. And it's like when he says something, it's like, this what it is. All right. Like, okay. It's one of them things like he speaks and I know God is on him too because of how he moves and
Sure.
what he speaks about. And I believe he does just get those words, get those ideas, and he says it. And somehow it just all like comes to play, I think it's it's an honor, it's a responsibility.
Yeah.
Even if like others don't think of it that way, I think of it that way. I don't look at it like, I'm the first lady. Like,
Yeah.
I look at it like okay, I have to continue to push myself, evolve, and just create. I don't feel like I need to do much because it's there already. But I just have to continue to own it, continue to push myself, continue to evolve.
No, I love that. We're gonna get into, Alter, the compilation album. I know you have Just Believe that I've been listening to nonstop since I received it. I want to jump into that, but I guess one other quick follow-up question, because again, in doing this, it's not like a one-off situation that you've worked with, Snoop and just the entire team. I guess the only other question there, what would be one thing that people either would be surprised to learn about, just Snoop as a collaborator or a mentor?
His ear is impeccable. He knows what he's talking about. With sonics, he knows what he's talking about. In sequencing projects, he knows just great music. He's always listening to great music. I never have like walked in a room with him and he's listening to like garbage. He's always listening to like really impressive stuff from like old school all the way to now, from all different genres. Yeah, his ear is amazing. He takes it serious. Yeah.
So again, congratulations on the just believe, because it's a really really great single. It's hitting radio. It's everywhere. So y'all, make sure you call up your radio person. You want to get Just Believe, Jane Handcock. You want to get that out there. Let's just say that you want to be pushing that hands down. Just tell us about the story behind that. Like, where were you emotionally, creatively? Like, what was kind of the vibe with this song?
My grandmother had passed in 2019.
Oh, sorry to hear.
Thank you. And I remember I was very close to her too. So, she was like, obviously, parents are like, I'm not one of your little friends, but she was a friend. She was really one of my best like confidants. And I remember she would always, she would tell me like, I love what you're doing and I love the rapping and the singing and but you're going to come back. You're going to come back to how you started. And she always said, I want you to. And I end up writing Just Believe just in my mom's garage, my mom and dad's garage, in the pandemic. And I wrote it for actually a play that I was in.
Okay.
At the time, I wanted to like really get into like writing music for just, different things. And I wrote it for a play, but I always kept the demo with me, just like, wow, this is my first gospel song I wrote. And I always it always makes me think about her, because it's like, I never rushed it, because I don't play with gospel music. I just don't play with God. So, it was something that was just called up on me to write. And I really, really do believe like her spirit was even attached to that, So yeah, she always would like, I don't know, that song just makes me be like, wow, I did what I said. I did that, Granny.
Wow, because even when you look at the art on the art on the altar, with the person that's kind of like holding the fan and all that, like it just has the whole look, the whole feel. You definitely feel it as you're listening to it, and it's something I feel like it's so important now more than ever, because there's so many things that can happen that can really shake us, and just having that belief, having that foundation. And shout out to Granny for just saying, "Hey, you're gonna spin the block on that."
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
Shout out to her. I mean, I love that, and you're the way you're talking, and you're speaking, you're sort of going through all of that. I mean, for at this stage of your career, you mentioned at the time you wanted to, write for shows and stuff, which you have been able to do. Receiving Emmy nominations, Emmy wins, doing all of these different things, but you just seem very humble and chill. Like you seem like someone that is just chill, cool, just relax. Like how do you even keep yourself grounded and not necessarily get hung up on yesterday's win or the next big win I want to get this, I want to get that. Like just process and stability. Like how do you center yourself?
I think I realized over the years that I I don't know, life humbles you, God will, humble you. I remember like I have lupus as well, and I don't know if it was like I was grieving my grandmother. I don't really know what it was, but I lost my voice for like 4 months. I couldn't even speak. And this was like right before she passed. And I just remember being like, wow, this is the only thing that I care about, this is the only thing that I care about on earth. Obviously, I was telling God, I remember like crying out something like, Lord, please give me my voice back. I'll stop doing a lot of things. I'll stop. I realize I'm not like everybody else, like I can't party and I can't, and I think that humbled me because God zipped my mouth.
Wow.
And that was like, anybody who knows me too, I love to joke. I love to, I'm just, God zipped my mouth and I had to be quiet. Wow. And it taught me like, I don't know, it just taught me like not to boast about anything because it could be here and it can be gone. And it's not me, it's him,
Wow. That's, you mentioned that, and it reminded me a little bit of my wife, because my wife had a similar situation. She's an independent recording artist, but she went through like a bath where it was like some autoimmune stuff. She couldn't sing, she couldn't do anything. Like her last single she released was like over 7 years. And I remember seeing her during that period, like just like wanting to worship in church, wanting to do all that, but just can't. So like, I'm not a singer. I mean, I can't hold a note for nothing. I don't even have any air sung. But for those that are passionate about what they're doing and know that they're called about what they're doing, I imagine that might have been like a really tough time for you. But at the same time, when you were not speaking, you're getting to listen and hear a whole lot. Mm-hmm. So in that listening season, kind of, coming out of that season, would you say even more so than you knew that Just Believe needed to be birthed and needed to be put out there for everyone? Like, was that one of those songs during that season, like you were like, hey, this is really speaking to me, so I know it's going to speak to others?
Absolutely. I wrote that was one of the songs that I wrote with my voice coming back.
Oh,
so
okay.
My voice changed, like my tone changed. And I had to get used to that. I had to get used to like a rougher sound, or like I remember watching Nina Simone, like an interview with her, and she was like describing her voice, like it could be as smooth as coffee, but it could also be as rough as sandpaper. And I resonate with that because I feel like that about my voice.
Yeah. And
that was one of the songs coming out of like really being humbled. So that's why I don't boast. I don't, I do a lot of great things and I'm blessed, I'm grateful. But, I could never just, Just Believe is, definitely one of them records that's just like a testament to that, like it's really not about us, in all hindsight.
Yeah. No, I love it. I'm just pondering and thinking as you're talking there. That's dope. I love that. I know we're we're coming up a little bit on time, so I have some quick little rapid fire. I'm just gonna throw at you. There's no right, wrong answer. Whether you want to answer it, if you don't, you just say pass, and we go to the next one, so we could round out this segment. Sounds good?
Got it.
All right. Let's roll. Let's roll. So, Bay Area roots run deep, right? So, if you had to make a Bay Area essentials playlist, what's 3 songs that just have to be in there? You're gonna put anything else, but what's 3 songs? Even if you can't do 3, give me 2 songs that you're like, you know what? As a Bay Area essential playlist, I definitely gotta add these 2 to it.
Guapale Closer.
Okay.
Ooh. Anything from like the Hawkins family.
I was thinking exactly
Yeah.
that in my head. That's
Yeah.
so wild.
Anything
Yeah.
from like Walter Hawkins or even Tremaine Hawkins.
Love it, love it. Say less, say less. I'm with it. Now, I'm sure you've heard this one before, but you can have dinner with any 3 guests, whether it's dead or alive. If you don't want to pick 3, you can give me 1. But who you want to pull up to this table? You're having dinner. Like who do you want to pull up to this table as you're having dinner?
I'll choose 3.
Okay.
I'll choose 3.
All right, let's go.
It would be my granny again. It would be Whitney Houston. And it'd be Aretha Franklin.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a powerful table of women right there.
Yes.
I like it. I'm sure you all would write some fire stuff too at that dinner.
Absolutely.
All right. Craziest, and I don't gotta use the word crazy, but I would say entertaining studio session story that you can share, or a fun studio session story that you can share, or we can go to the next one.
Honestly, they're just not that. You'd be surprised. They're just pretty regular. I think all of them though, like. Just when I come out with something good, just the feeling of like what that feels like to me is like always crazy to me.
When you feel like, I think I know this. I have a really good feeling about this one.
Yeah, it's always a great day. Like I always have like, those are like good days for me. Like, yes, I came out with something that's like really, really
I love
impactful.
it.
Yeah.
We're almost there. We only got about 2 more here. We're almost there. So,
Take your time.
what's the first thing you do to decompress after a long day in the studio? Because I'm sure there's some really long studio sessions. So once you get out of there, you're like, hey, I got to decompress. What are we doing to decompress?
Dang, it's probably not even like. I love to just watch TV and lay with my dog.
What kind of dog you got?
A Shih Tzu.
Shih Tzu.
Yeah,
Okay.
He's literally my little buddy. So
What's his name?
Levi.
Levi.
Shout out, Levi.
Okay. Shout out to Levi. When you're watching this, Levi, be sure to like, comment, subscribe.
Yes.
All right. Dope. All right. Now it's that I want to hear now. Finish the sentence. In 5 years, Jane Handcock will be.
Fulfilled. Yeah.
I like that.
Fulfilled. I don't know what
I love
that all means, but yeah. Above all, I want to be fulfilled and purposeful. So.
Wow. I love that. That's a great answer. Fulfill and purposeful. Man. I like that. Come on, man. Come on, fulfillment. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to fulfillment. Any final message you would like to leave with, whether fans, those that follow you, those that look up to you, that's one thing you can leave with us. But also, I want you to kind of just, the compilation album Alter, just talk a little bit about that. I know outside of just, Just Believe, other songs, just kind of the process in and around that before you answer that final question.
Yes, Altar Call just in general was when I was watching Charlie Burrell, Mike Burrell, in the studio, really kind of putting everything together.
Yeah.
I found myself at times being intimidated because I felt like well, this isn't my genre, and again, I just really, really revere gospel music.
Yeah.
The whole album is just like, man, it's just honestly spirit-filled.
Yeah.
It's spirit-filled. So much so, I didn't want to, you can't just come any old way
Yeah. Yeah.
into situations and into bodies of work like Altar Call. And this is the second gospel album that Snoop has like curated and really like produced and put together. Both of them are on that, so I'm just really happy that I got to, you know, be on the second one, because the first one was the same way.
Yeah, I remember the first one years ago when he was at the Stellar Awards in Vegas with that one. Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, and then he brings out like the best of the best.
Yeah,
for sure.
This is facts.
So, you know, I was really, really honored to be on this project. I mean, from start to finish, you could play it, no skips. And it's for everybody. It's for everybody, all ages. Anybody can get something on there, whether, you know, depending on the genres they like to listen to.
Of course.
But it's for everybody.
Love that. Yeah. Thank you. Y'all make sure you get Altar Call. I keep saying altar. I don't know why I keep saying altar. Altar Call. I need to clean that up. Altar Call. Go ahead and get Altar Call. Available everywhere. Go ahead and you download that. You stream it, save it, send it to someone. Call your radio station about Just Believe. You want to also make sure you guys get that. Before I have you give us your socials, Jane, just, you know, leave us with a message. You know, what is someone that's now starting out, you know, they're kind of going through, maybe they're in that season where you were in, of that uncertainty, trying to navigate the music industry, trying to figure out what to do next. Like, what word of advice you would have for them before giving us your socials?
I hate to be so cliche, but really, you have to have an unshakable belief. Even sometimes, that's why God's, you know, grace and mercy is so efficient, because it's like my faith can even sometimes get a little shaky.
Yeah, of course.
You know, but like the belief in everything, it just instilled in me. So you have to have an unshakable belief, which will restore your faith as well. So, you know, I would say to anybody out there that feels something deep inside that they have to get out, literally just keep that belief unshakable.
Love it.
Yeah.
Man, I can sit here and talk to you all day, but I know you got somewhere else to go. What's your social? How can people follow you? How can people tap in?
You can follow me at Miss Jane Handcock, MSJaneHandcock on all socials. Google me, Jane Handcock, and it'll pop right up. And give yourself
Love
a
this,
little
Jane.
listen.
Appreciate it. And of course, you said I wore my LA shirt, you know, in our little Cali, so you know, I was kind of holding it down as well. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.